Welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and if you are not following me on social media, y'all, you are missing out. Definitely make sure that you are following because we have a management series coming up this week where we are discussing solely management, how to improve, how we can really rectify some of the things that's going on in the workplace. But you can follow me at The Millennial Manager or Brandy, The Millennial Manager on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So today is an email episode, and I have quite a few, and they are awesome. Let's get to it. Now, the first email does not have a title, so I'm going to go ahead and give it one. And I think that we're going to go with a power struggle dynamic because that is exactly what this is. All right, let's get to it. Hello, I love your videos. I just watched the one about management not caring, so why should I? I agree. I'm a supervisor in nursing, and my manager and chief do not communicate well at all. Manager tells me to write up staff. The chief says I'm too harsh and throws it out. It's ridiculous. It's also a waste of my time. This department was horrible before my assignment. It still is, and it will be when I leave. I emailed saying I wasn't writing up anyone else due to their lack of support. Now they want more info since it should be a case-by-case situation. That's more work for me, and they know the staff is raggedy. I had to laugh. That was funny. They have never made any other supervisor hold staff accountable. I feel like I'm being set up. The staff is most of their former friends. That's why you got to do it on a case-by-case situation because these are their buddies. Before they promote it, I see the nepotism daily. I have 4 more years before I retire, so part of me feels like I should just grin and bear it, but it's not right. I'm just not sure what to do. I've been in supervisory roles for 11 years and have never seen anything like this. I also was a sergeant in the Air Force. Thank you for your service. And this isn't my first rodeo, but God, it is mentally exhausting. Signed, Betty. Okay, honey. Let's talk for real. You are in the middle of a power struggle. Now, I don't know what your manager and chief's personal relationship was, but their work relationship is in shambles and you're caught in the middle. So your manager tells you, go ahead and write this person up. I feel like you have sufficient information. And then the chief says, actually, no, girl, that's my bestie. You're not going to do that. And so now your hands are tied. And your number one step needs to be to document every single conversation. You should be documenting when they're telling you to write someone up. You should be documenting what that person did. And you should be documenting what the chief is saying. Because that is how you are going to CYA. And for those of you who don't know what that means that you are covering your ass, and you have to do a lot of it in your professional life. So you need to start documenting your interactions, documenting what was said, and documenting what was done. Okay? Now, to be honest, because I know that's why you emailed me this, I would not stay in this place. This is the bad place. This is the bad place. You have 4 years left. Now, if you would have said, I got like 2 years left, I got 1 year left, I would have said, girl, ride this damn wave, okay, and retire and go off into the sunset. But it is already costing you mentally. And I am not in the business of telling someone to put their piece up for sale because I would not. And being that you have 4 years, I would not have even took a supervisory role and be stressing out like this. Not in the last 4 years of my career. Hell no. I would not do it. And so my honest to God recommendation is not to try to make this situation better. You continue to document and do as you are told until you find something else. Because it's not worth your time. It's not worth your peace. It's not worth the stress. I know you got 4 years left, baby, but you can have 4 years of bliss because 4 years is a long time. It's not 1 year. 4 years is like high school, 9th to 12th grade. And as much as I want to believe that it flies by, it doesn't. And this is like a challenge for you. I would not. The dynamic is terrible. There's no way that you're going to get past them. They're not going to be supportive. They're not going to want to hear what you have to say. I would move on. All right, y'all. So our next email is coming from a manager who is drowning. I love your content. I have been in the medical management profession for about 15 years. Well, first of all, let me say thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate it. But prior to management, she has been in the field since the year 2000. My current job since 2017, and I have ran this practice. Do you hear me? Okay, with a series of E's and exclamation marks, okay, to let you know she is meaning business. I've done everything from the move-in to decorating, cleaning. I can do everything but see a patient, all right? But the doctor brought his wife in 2021, and by 2023, they sold the practice to people in another state without telling me until after the sale. But of course, she knew and has the other people thinking that she's the one that has been doing everything. Now, up until now, my staff has quit, and I'm doing all the duties I had as a practice manager, except for hiring and firing and payroll. And then in all exclamation marks, she says, "Brandy, I am miserable." He sold the practice, but all year they come in, want data, and leave me alone to do all the work. The wife only comes in 1 to 2 hours a day because she doesn't even want me to ask her for help. But the new bosses come in and she's there all day. I have personal obligations I have to handle 3 days a week, so I'm allowed to work half day from home. So that's the reason I'm scared to leave, because I don't know if anyone else will allow me to do that. My question is, should I just say F it and leave? I promise you, I just want to pack up and leave, but I'm scared. Signed, Betty. Now, Betty, before we get into the advice, I want to talk about the signature that you have. It says, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better. And this is on your email, Betty. Okay? Now, the quote comes from Maya Angelou, and I think that she was very, very wise. And I can't help but think that you are wise as well for using this as your signature. To be honest, you have to make a decision of whether or not you want to stay in an environment where you are overworked. I'm not sure what your pay is, or if you're underpaid. You haven't said that if that's the case. But if you really need this space because you have personal requirements and they are giving you the freedom to be able to work remote, you have to make a decision. Are your personal situations stopping you from being able to go out and find an ideal place of employment where you don't have to deal with a lack of support? Or, right, do you stay and have that lack of support, but also get the freedom? So you have to figure out whether you want the support or do you want the freedom. But you cannot, in the meantime, be mad about the decision that you make, because it is up to you. You have to make a choice. There was a time where I worked for a primary care office, and when I tell you, that doctor was evil as hell, but she let me bring my kids to work when they didn't have school, and I wrote it out. For about 2 years, I stayed with that lady, and I did not complain while I was there because the job was what I needed in the meantime. So until your situation gets better, I definitely think you may need to stay unless you can handle whatever situation you got as to why you have to leave 3 days a week, because you are 100% correct. You cannot guarantee that there's another job that's going to allow you to do that. And then also, you don't know how long this company is going to allow it. So if I were you, I would first of all rectify whatever that situation is that requires you to do that. And then you can really sit down and analyze the situation and say, you know what, do I want support or do I want freedom? But you're going to have to figure it out either way. A little side note, y'all gonna hear a little rustling in that read because my toddler came up here and I'm just real, all right? I couldn't re-record that. He was up here on my lap and moving around and stuff. So you're gonna hear a little rustling, but that's okay, all right? Y'all love me, I love y'all, and that's y'all nephew. Keep streaming so we can get a studio, okay? Our last email is coming from the space of pet to threat. And that's exactly what we're about to label this one because that's what I see this situation as. And we're going to go ahead and start. It says, hey, Brandy, it's Betty. First of all, let me say I love what you're doing. I love your platform. Thank you so much for supporting. And then it says, now let's start to why I'm here. So boom. I started a role 6 months ago in what I thought would be my dream company. Upon my first week of onboarding, something fell off, but I stayed anyway. At this company, there's nearly 600 employees, and I would say less than 50 are POC. This was my first red flag. I experienced some blatant prejudice from a trainer, including them making comments on my appearance, the way I spoke, and how I dressed, which was always business casual because I do Zoom calls with customers. Fast forward to when I'm out 3 months of training and I move on to my permanent team. In the beginning, my white manager was consistently praising me and my work. I was always getting consistently positive feedback on my quality review customer interactions. I was told in the first few weeks of me being on the floor, aka remotely, that I was consistently producing high quality work compared to my colleagues that have been there for 4+ years. Now, this is a big red flag because they shouldn't be telling you that, okay? I thought it was all good, but, that big but happened. All right. Up until about a month ago, when I decided to take a step back from being so overly involved in non-work related calls or chats due to my workload, I just didn't have time to casually chit chat. She obviously noticed, and now my quality reviews went from 93% and now to a failing 50%. She's failing me for minor things, such as not telling a customer in an email, thanks for clarifying, because I said thank you for clarifying. Oh my God. She failed me 4 times in one day and put me on a PIP because of minor things like this. The feedback is always you helped the customer, but you could have done this instead. You provided them with great instructions, but you should have sent them a video instead of sending it in an email. Meanwhile, nowhere in our company policy does it say we must send a video responding to a customer via email. Although the information and instructions I am providing the customer is correct, she is still failing my interactions. Am I crazy? Is this normal? Is this micromanaging? Is this even allowed? I am physically ill at the thought of going back to work each day because I am fearful of my scores dropping below a certain point and I'll be fired for saying things like in an email. Brandy, help me because I am so close to quitting and doing something strange for a piece of change. Baby, no, don't do that. Don't do it. This ain't it. And then she continues to sign the email, Betty. Now, Betty, all right. I want to explain to y'all the transition from pet to threat. If you have never experienced this transition, it is a crazy roller coaster that you are on. Because when you were the pet, you received excessive praise, you received so much attention, you had favorable treatment, favorable comments, you were the star. And then one day you stop being able to respond to her and really massage that relationship because of your workload. And now you're a threat. Now you're a threat to her because not only are you performing or outperforming other colleagues who've been with the company for 4+ years, you are outperforming her ass. So now, instead of keeping you close, she decides to push you far, far away and put you on a PIP. Now, you can do several things. You can fight it by providing the racist experience that you received or that you had in the beginning of your employment. You can start turning some of those reports in. If you have the name of the trainer, you can turn it in to buy you a little bit of time. All right. Now, once you do that, then you can really start documenting the shift in the wonderful comments and stuff like that to how it kind of shifted to your work experience is poor. Your work performance is poor. And it all goes back to when you stop responding. So if you really want to take the time to document from when the compliments started, right? You were a star employee, to when you were not able to respond anymore to comments and stuff like that. And then now your work performance is being rated at like 50%. You could document that, show a calendar. You said it was about a month ago, you cut down the communication, and now you are the problem. So I would turn that in and say, hey, I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I am considering this PIP to be retaliation, which will also give you a little more time to find a job. That's where I'm going. You need to just control the PIP, because inevitably they are going to fire you, because a PIP is hard to come off of, and they extend the goalpost. The goalpost is so high that it's very hard for you to meet. And when you are faced with the PIP, you really just need to buy yourself some time until you find another job. That's my God honest opinion. When you are hit with the PIP and you don't have that much experience on the job, you're not going to win. It's very hard to win. And you have even said that you are physically ill at the thought of going to work every day, because you are constantly afraid of what this woman is going to say. So you know that you don't have that fight in you because it's already making you sick. So what I would do is I would buy myself some time until I can find a place that is ideal for me, because this is a toxic work environment. The fact that this woman is taking interactions, or the lack thereof, so personal, and then turning around and using it against you and trying to discredit your work is atrocious. And it's not any company that I would want to work for that lets this kind of behavior run ragged. So I really, really wish you the absolute best. And I hope that you find exactly what you need, because this is crazy. Now, I want to thank y'all so much for the support. I really, really appreciate the engagement. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, The Millennial Manager. Please make sure that you are downloading or subscribing or following the podcast so you don't miss any updates. I have been thinking about maybe implementing a bonus episode or maybe a live episode, strictly because I have a lot of emails and I got to get through them. And the email episode is only 3 emails, and that is a delay, or it's delaying people from being able to get the answers that they need. So let me know if you all would like a bonus episode by leaving some remarks on the podcast. So I just want to thank you so much again for engaging. I really appreciate it. We hit 8,000 on Monday, and I just know we can hit 10 by next Monday. My goal was actually to hit 8,000 downloads by next Monday, the 30th, but we have superseded that. So I just want to thank you to the listeners who sent their emails today. I really wish you all the absolute best. Know that these opinions are mine, and I definitely feel like you all are in some situations where you really have to just be prayerful and use some discernment. That's my God honest opinion. So along with the opinion that I gave today, you also have to use your own discernment to help you get out of some situations, because you are the one that has to live with the outcome. Okay? Now, y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the internet. Bye-bye.